Hey, how's it going, guys? So here we are back again for some more Python BACnet Stacks Playground. Sorry that I've been kind of busy and I haven't posted a video in a while, but trying to get back on a normal cadence. So this is our AI generated coursework, and right now we're in the VibeCode app 4, working on the mini calendar device. So got a couple more days to go, and I have been kind of randomly revising this coursework on the fly too, so I kind of apologize for that. But so this is new for me, just covering tutorials and internet and how fast I can create content and cover topics. So it's actually going way faster than I thought it would. So I thought this would be the final course project, but we've actually done this open weather map. There's one of the videos is cropped too, where I might go back and try and redo that one, but I think I covered enough of the previous videos around and before that one, where it's kind of corrupted halfway through from my audio and from my recording device. So right now we're still on this, and we're going to do the calendar schedule device, but let me know if you have any problems with the weather app. So this is where we used Open Weather Map API, and we tested it, put this print into the browser, and then this is our mini. This is our device that we're running on the Raspberry Pi. So some person even posted a comment on if I could do something on how to image a Raspberry Pi. So there's also this really easy tool out from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Super cool tool. This imaging tool that they have out right now. It just makes it so easy that I just select my Raspberry Pi, and then it goes and it finds. I do these images that I don't have a desktop environment, so these images that I choose are they're actually the light image. So I do 64-bit or 32. I don't think it matters, but for what I'm doing, these are with no desktop, a light version. So that is only SSH. So basically, you can only SSH into the Raspberry Pi like this with a command prompt. But if you want a full desktop environment, it's a much bigger image, much heavier lift for the little Raspberry Pi, 1.9 gigabyte download to do all the desktop imaging features, where it's a fraction of that if you're just using SSH. But these Raspberry Pis are pretty powerful these days. So I've seen people even doing video games on them, or whatever. So they're getting more powerful. But the older Raspberry Pis, which I have on my test bench running BACnet devices, are I just asked you use these light images and just walk through the tutorials, and I'll post this YouTube video in it too, as it seems pretty good. It walks you through this whole process. You can even pre-configure the Raspberry Pi, keyboard shortcut, and then I also do some customizations where I do authentication. I don't do anything with Wi-Fi, but you can. So I use this public key authentication. So when I log into my Raspberry Pi, like this, I do exit, then I just SSH right into this. I'm using a public encryption key on my host computer, the Windows computer, that logs me right into it. It's actually a much more secure way of logging into. I don't think they go through this in this tutorial, but use this public key authentication, which it's much more secure than the username and password if you use a encryption key to be able to log into the device. And it's so easy now to do it all through this GUI. You don't even have to do any fancy things through Linux. Before, it was actually kind of harder to do that. So I'll post this in the video. But yeah, it's super easy to do this now. So, okay, so let's get back to this. I don't see any of the args that I used in this. So in the doc string, I like to post some of the args I use. So then I'm also using tmux. So I have this program called tmux that I'm running on the Raspberry Pi that keeps the Python script running after I close out of the SSH session. And honestly, if you need help with this, like I think this stuff is so good these days where like help me on my Raspberry Pi with setting up tmux and running a Python script via SSH and keep it running after I close SSH, make me a beginner tutorial, please. Okay, and I think this stuff does like a really good job at making you step-by-step tutorials on how to install tmux and how to probably like a few things I don't even know in here, but it'll give you a really good tutorial. It just say how to install Raspberry Pi command line. So I mean, I do this for a lot of things. Like I do this for Unity game development, hobby projects, you name it. Like this whole all of this AI generated course content, it's just kind of, it all stems from make me a tutorial. Okay, so let's get into this. I just wanted to see tmux-a is how to get into no session. So when I wanted to run, okay, so this is what I need to put in the vibe code app. For a mini weather station, I like to keep little cheat sheets for how to run the Python script. So remember, we have args here for the name of the BACnet device, the BACnet instance ID, and debug. So this is all through BACpipes. But it's from the BACpipes library that supports all those args. Another thing that I think worth showing too is like someone posted on, I'm just gonna go BACpipes 3 GitHub. Any controls technician guys that you're learning Python, learn Git to create a GitHub account and just get familiar with how to use GitHub. Create a little project, make it open source. It can be a portfolio for you. And then, let's see, what am I trying to say with this? It's really good to know Git. Have a GitHub account. It looks really good on resumes too, if you want to move beyond this and beyond building automation. So I think someone created, let me see, discussions. Okay, I didn't know this, but perhaps Jason is watching the YouTube videos where someone said he must be using some of these scripts, like how to use the shell mode in BACpipes, where I didn't know this existed, but you can also just run right in the Python shell. So I'm on the Raspberry Pi right now, and then if I type on this argument right here, so what this is doing right here, it's using python-m, so that's running BACpipes as a Python package, and this is pretty cool. Watch this. This will, actually, I have to do a virtual environment. Let's see if I have one. So this is my virtual environment in Python. Ask ChatGPT, how do I set up a virtual environment? Where that is just a python-m venv env. So this is how you install the virtual environment, but I did that process already. So if I just want to enable it now. I just do dot env bin and activate tab complete all the way through that. And then this is where I had pip Python package manager install backpipes 3, and I'm going to do a -- upgrade because I've seen that they've made some updates to backpipes recently. So look, there's another version of backpipes with some updates that it installed. I'm just making sure my VPN is, I'm going to disconnect that. There's one VPN that does not like BACnet for whatever reason. So now I'm going to try this. Shoot, I don't know if that screwed up my... Okay, so now I'm in the Python shell, backpipe shell. So this is really neat. So this is something I did not even know, and maybe we'll cover more of this, but this is the backpipe shell, where originally I think backpipes was a tool for BACnet testers, BACnet developer testing people. So see all these, I just did a help, and these are all the commands. So I have these commands, I can't even remember what these read. Let's read multiple. Who has, who is. So let's just try who is. So now my Raspberry Pi on my test bench is doing a who is. And for some reason that didn't work. Oh, I know why. So let's see. So I'm at 192.168.204.12. Oh shoot, I think I have to redo this. So 192.168.204.12. CIDR notation for this is the 255.255.255.0 class C or whatever, like the subnet. So that was my Raspberry Pi. So that'll bind my NIC card, the Raspberry Pi. And let's try this. Who is again? See my other devices on my test bench. So look there. So we have some other devices responding. So this is really neat. I didn't even know that you could do this. And then from my Windows computer. So right now this is SSH'd into the Raspberry Pi from a Windows computer. This is PowerShell over here, Bash over here. We're on the Raspberry Pi, so we're not running a BACnet application on my Windows computer. Because remember, you can only run one BACnet application on the host computer at a time. So now I'm going to see if I can discover this script. If Ben server comes up. And there it is. So, but there's nothing in it. There's no BACnet points. There's no nothing, because we're just using just the raw backpipe shell to do things. But it's really cool. So this would be super helpful in IoT, is if you could just troubleshoot BACnet networks, do a who is, whatever, fancy things you're trying to do. Pretty neat. I thought you had to do this all outside of backpipes. Cool. So maybe this is all. I might stop here, and then maybe in the future I still want to see what these are. These are abbreviated commands for BACnet. Like read priority array, read multiple, which we made an entire script for. That was Vibecode app 2. We made scripts to do that. But when you use a script, then you can collect data. You can do things through this little shell right here. I think you can just run a couple of generic commands. Okay, so maybe we should just try. Whoops. Do ls. I'm gonna list everything. Okay, so this is Windows over here, and this is Linux over here, and then we secure file copied from Windows, which is my computer, to the Raspberry Pi. So mini calendar device, I don't know if we even have to modify this at all, but let's just try running it. So I'm grabbing this script right here is from my Windows computer, and it's already on the Raspberry Pi. We secure file copied it over previously. So let's just try running it. Ooh, Python can't. Oh, maybe we didn't secure file copy protocol it over. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to do a Control R and see what my last SCP command was. Doesn't look like. Okay, this looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. So I am going to use secure file copy protocol to send a file over to the Raspberry Pi. So let's just do secure file copy protocol command, and then mini tab complete. Ooh, wrong file. Mini schedule this. Okay, so mini schedule calendar device, secure file copy protocol, and then I'm gonna do now I have to designate the Raspberry Pi. So this was I have to copy this. So it's gonna do ben at 192.168.204.12, and then I have to specify the directory that I want it in. So I think I can just do this: colon tilde slash. There's the home directory, and then I just have to copy the name again. Hit enter. Boom. Okay, so that's, hopefully this makes sense, guys. So like, we ran a command, secure copy protocol for mini device.py from my Windows computer to the Raspberry Pi on the local test bench. And it went, this little 100 thing popped up, made it super easy because we already have private key authentication into the Raspberry Pi. And then on here, now I should be able to do an ls on the Raspberry Pi, and boom, there it is. So there's our file. So now that the file is over there, I should be able to run it. And it's running. So look at this. So we have calendar object in BACnet, and also a schedule object and one binary value. So back on Windows here, I should be able to see that. I'm gonna do another whois through my contemporary controls tool. And there's my mini schedule server. And there is my holiday calendar and office hours schedule. Okay, cool. So we have this. In this tool, it looks like I can't even drill into these points, probably because they don't support it, how to parse the data. So like what we've been doing in our theory lectures is going through Python data structures, nested data structures, and iterating through the data. So more than likely, this tool does not support how to parse the data coming back from there, but it does for a binary value object. So that is why we can drill into it and we can see this. So I have a feeling I might just leave it here, and then tomorrow we will work on, we could write a script that we could run from Windows, just reading the data from a calendar object and a schedule object in BACnet, and then doing some of our theory lecture stuff on parsing that data and seeing what's inside of it. So ultimately, so what I'm going to do is close out of this, and I'm going to do tmux. So tmux, I want to run my script, close out of the SSH session, so the script will stay running long term, and we can do that with tmux. Oops, I have to do the virtual environment dot env bin tab activate tab completed. There's my virtual environment with all of the Python packages for BACnet installed in that we updated previously. So then I will just run this from tmux. There it goes again. So remember, tmux is just kind of a test bench way of keeping scripts alive. If this was running in a building, in a production environment, people getting paid to do things in IoT or whatever, like, we wouldn't use tmux. We would use Docker or systemd. So just keep that in mind. This is just for easy test bench stuff. So I'm going to do a disconnect from my tmux session, and then we should be able to validate on the scan tool that the Python script is still running. So I'm going to do the shortcut command. It's Control-B-D. Disconnect from tmux. So I am going to see it. Here's PowerShell and SSH. So this is PowerShell here. Linux SSH on here. I'm going to close out of that one. So now we should be able to run our scan tool and just check and see that our script is still running. And then we'll be able to do make another script tomorrow with some of our theory lecture stuff of looping through there. And yep, so our script is still running on with the help of tmux. So if we closed out of this without having tmux keep the Python script alive, the script would have died, and then we wouldn't have seen this. So hopefully that makes sense. In SSH through Linux, this might be very obvious to people that perhaps have an IT background or something, that you need to keep the script running through a couple different means. Okay, so I think that's all we'll do. We'll switch over to the theory lecture, but so we can look at this in more detail, but we're gonna the mini schedule calendar device has weekdays defined as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in Python, this is how we're using this. And we create a BACnet date tuple. So I have to brush up on this stuff. I haven't looked at it in a while. So there's some ways, fancy ways to make a calendar and schedule object in BACnet. Some building automation systems, and then we kind of do the same thing before when we did our mini calendar, our mini BACnet weather application, is that we we had to define our BACnet objects and then add it to the application and then use async IO. So it has the same look and feel. It's just the only thing we're doing now. We're doing schedule objects, and we're doing local calendar objects. So we kind of just have to pretend that this is a building automation GUI, and then our equipment is scheduled to run on weekdays from Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So that's what we'll see in the BACnet data. But maybe I'll try and bring up how it might look on the building automation front end, where there's just a generic weekly run schedule. So this is ultimately what we're trying to mimic and study a little bit behind the scenes. And you probably would run into this in the wild on building automation systems. It might not be guaranteed that they have this, but I've seen some manufacturers do support this right out of the box, where you set the runtime of the equipment through the building automation system, and then you'll see a BACnet object representing that data. Okay, so let's try and bash out a script theory lecture. So anyone that is not interested in the theory lecture stuff, because it might be pretty dry and boring, feel free to sign off, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow on the next one. We'll interrogate this calendar schedule object stuff. So if you're like me and you want to brush up and keep your Python skills sharp, or you're learning from scratch, follow along. It's up to you. Okay, so day 25, documentation, comments, and help. I do kind of like this AI-generated coursework on Reddit. There's Learn Python sections of Reddit, and I have been posting in there that I think AI is pretty good at creating tutorials and helping, and some people totally shoot it down. So it's up to you. It's helped me a ton. If it hasn't helped you, I'm sorry to hear, but you can do whatever you want to do. Okay, so the goal is here, how to write clear doc strings. Well, this is kind of lame. Comments and doc strings. So we've covered this. So like in our BACnet applications, this is very obvious. Like we write doc strings, and I think it's what I try and do is super helpful is like how to run the script like this, like how to run, like people that don't do that, it just it makes it so much harder when people don't do that, I think. But people get really even in functions you can create doc strings. If you would see AI generated course content or AI generated code, it's just ridiculous amount of comments, and it almost makes it unreadable. Okay, clear documentation, mini examples, area of a circle. I think this is kind of stupid. I might actually just skip this because I don't feel like doing any of this anyways. But write a script that defines a function with an empty body and pass, and a doc string explaining that the function will be implemented later. Maybe we could even go right to day 26, but this is the week in review. Maybe we should just go into, I'm probably not going to do this today, but it says we should have our BACnet Discover app, so this is a long time ago. This coursework is a little bit updated, so maybe we'll just start jumping into day 27. Okay, cool, this is the fun stuff. Getting into the algorithms here. So how many days? So we have this. So algorithms are pretty cool. This is like the computer science degrees. They go into algorithms, so it can get really complicated and advanced. But yeah, we'll study more of this in the future. So I think I might just end this today. Gosh, I'm debating on, maybe since we're skipping all the way to day 27, what is algorithms? Maybe we could just do like one thing here. So let's play around with, I'm just going to copy this over it, and maybe we could just start playing with this tomorrow. So I'm just going to call this read schedule object.py with backpipes 3. Okay, so this will actually work. I don't think we're going to write anything, so I'm just going to delete this, and we'll pick up this tomorrow. Remember, this is like the really old stuff that we did, so I'm even going to delete this who is. Okay, so we won't be writing any data, so I think this will be a good spot to pick up for tomorrow. Actually, we could just look at our mini calendar schedule. So we want to look at a schedule object 1. So if we want to read a schedule, I think we just do this. So if we do, I can't remember if we have to do update backpipes here, but I'm just going to do python-m pip install backpipes 3 -- upgrade. Whoops. Forgot the A in upgrade. Sometimes I cheat in Windows and I don't use virtual environment unless it forces me to. Okay, so that worked. So I can do make my doc string here. Let's try this. I'm just gonna check my IP config. So this is on my Windows computer. Okay, so my Windows computer is still .11, which is correct. So this should work. So right now we're going to read this guy through Python, and I have to close this out because we can't run two BACnet devices on the same computer. Oops. But then maybe this will be a really good spot for us to all right, so yep, we did. We successfully read our schedule object. So I think this will be a good spot for tomorrow, guys. Like we'll get into how do you parse this. So there's data inside of here in probably a special data structure that will pick apart the different pieces of that, and then we'll see that that it's actually all of this stuff in date and time tuples, BACnet. So yeah, let's get into it tomorrow. So hopefully this made sense, guys. We set this up on the Raspberry Pi, and now on Windows we're reading that value through BACnet, and then we're going to parse that information, what's inside of there. So yes, hopefully you guys are liking this. Sorry if it's jumping around quite a bit and it's kind of getting modified on the fly, but if there's any content that you wish would be better supported or something, feel free to post a comment, or there's a Discord channel. So if you go to here, join the Discord channel, and I'm on Discord during the daytime. Feel free to ask for assistance. I'm even willing to help you if you want some help over Zoom or something like that. Some people have helped me in the beginning, and it's very helpful to get a little bit of tips here and there. So feel free to reach out. Until then, have a good day, guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.